Hello everyone and welcome to the class of economics. So today we will start with chapter 6 of Indian economic development, that is rural development, and these are the contents which we are going to finish today. Meaning of rural development, its process, sources, critical appraisal, agricultural marketing system, diversification of agricultural activities and evaluation of rural development. Not wasting time, now in India majority of poor people live in rural areas where they do not have access to basic amenities like clean drinking water, food supply and so on. Around 30% of our total population still lives below the poverty line, and the share of agriculture sector, that is GDP, was on a decline, and there has been increase in the share of industrial and service sector. That means from agriculture sector the contribution to GDP is declining, whereas contribution from industrial sector and tertiary sector is been increasing. Moreover, after the economic reforms, that is new economic policy since 1991, the growth rate of agriculture sector decreased to 3% per annum during 1991 and 2012 in between, which was lower than the earlier years. Now, what is the meaning of rural development? Hence the chapter is all about that. So, rural development refers to continuous and comprehensive socio-economic process attempting to improve all the aspects of rural life, including their infrastructure and all other things. So, in India if we see, agriculture is the main source of livelihood of rural sector, that means all those people who are living in rural factors, including tenants, marginal farmers, with more than 2/3 of India's population which is depending on agriculture, especially in rural areas. So, development in agriculture will contribute to the betterment of these rural areas and rural people. However, the term rural development includes not only agricultural development but involves all other aspects in rural areas which improves their quality of life and their standard of living, and hence it improves the economic and social conditions of all those people who are living in rural areas. Rural people account for about 3/4 of the total population. However, they have always lagged behind, that means they are always behind the overall progress of the economy. In order to overcome this kind of trend or undesirable trend, special programs are made or are launched for rural development by our government. Now, process of this rural development, that is what is the process all about of upgrading or developing these rural areas or for rural development. The first thing which government did is development of human resource. Now, human resource here means the human capital formation. So, the quality of the human resource needs to be improved through following measures as proper attention for literacy, that means if they are provided proper education, that is improving them in literacy rate, education, skills development, etc., and better health facilities if provided to this rural people, then we can actually develop the human resources living in rural areas. Development of infrastructure, that is providing better clean drinking water, roads, railways, transportation, improvement in electricity, irrigation, credit facilities and transportation facilities, including construction of village roads, feeder roads to nearby highways and to urban areas. Better linking facility must be provided to them. Better facility for agriculture research and extension of information and technology, it must be provided. So, we can develop the infrastructure. Third can be land reforms. Land reforms means through land reforms policy, which includes elimination of exploitation in land relations, actualization of goal of land to the tiller, from the landlord to the tiller, improvement of socio-economic conditions of rural people, increasing agricultural productivity and production, and so that we can have land reforms. Alleviation of poverty, that is eliminating the condition of poverty. As stated earlier, 30% of our total population still is below the poverty line, which is a serious threat for the economic growth of the nations. So, some serious steps can be used or can be made to bring the significant improvement in living conditions of the people who are living in rural areas, so that we can improve their condition from weaker section to a better section of the society. Development of productive resources of which locality to enhance opportunities of employment, that means they must be provided ample opportunities for employment, so that they will not be job seeker always, and they can raise by earning they can raise their standard of living also. In agricultural farmers, which are in the strong need for credit facilities. So, they must be provided ample credit facilities on less interest rate by the banks or with the initiative by government. Sources of rural credit, that means what are the sources of basically this rural credit? It can be done through non-institutional sources, that is informally, or through institutional sources, that is formally. So, first we will go with non-institutional sources. It can be through money lenders, that means they can avail the facility of credit through money lenders, but money lenders since the beginning they are playing a major role in providing credit facilities to the small and marginal farmers, but always these peasants are exploited in the hands of the money lenders. So, this idea or this kind of frequent moving to money lenders for availing the or borrowing the money, which is not a good idea. Why? Because they are always, these landlords are or money lenders are always manipulating the accounts without the knowledge of the this farmers, and hence they are exploited in the hands of that. Second can be relatives, that is they can borrow money from their relatives, nearby friends or family members at the time of crisis. Third can be traders and commission agents, or we can say the brokers they can hire, as they provide credit to the peasants to the mortgage on the mortgage of crops at high rates of interest on a condition that the crops will be sold at a very low prices, which is not a good idea. Fourth, they can be rich landlords, that means these small farmers and tenants who are working on the lands of these landlords or rich landlords can take loan from them, and after meeting their financial requirement, landlords always charge high rate of interest to them, and with this they are always exploited in the hands of landlords, particularly small farmers and tenants. Some institutional, so in place of these non-institutional sources or informal ways, we can have or we can hire some institutional sources which is much faithful. So, first can be cooperative credit, that means through cooperative banks. Primary objective this cooperative is to liberate or make India free from the clutches of money lenders and landlords, and to provide them credit at a very low interest rate, and they can maximize their income also. Second can be land development banks. These banks provide credit to the farmers against mortgaging of their lands. Loans are provided for permanent improvement of lands, purchasing agricultural implements, for irrigation facilities, and for all such things they can borrow certain amount of money through this land development banks. And repaying old debts, commercial bank credit. Now there are commercial banks also who are playing a major role in advancing loans and other such credit facilities to rural people. However, after nationalization of these banks in 1969, they expanded their branches in rural areas and started directly financing the farmers. Then it can be regional, that means other source can be regional rural banks. So, these banks are opened up in those areas where there are no banking facilities. So, the main objective behind opening of these regional rural banks is to help small and marginal farmers, that is to provide credit facilities to the small and marginal farmers, agricultural laborers, artisans, and various small entrepreneurs available in rural areas. Then fifth can be National Bank of Agricultural and Rural Development. This is an apex bank which coordinates the functioning of different financial institutions working for the expansion of rural credit. So, the main objective is to promote health and strength of credit institution, namely cooperatives, commercial bank and regional rural banks working for the sake of these farmers. So, besides this providing finance to credit institution, these also provide financial help or assistance to the non-farming sector to promote integrated rural development and prosperity of these backward areas. Sixth can be self-help group, again, or having bank linkages for microfinance. So, this self-help group is also playing a major role in providing microfinance, that is small amount of finance program all over the country in recent years. So, their focus or their main objective is largely on providing proper finance or funds, adequate funds to rural people who have no sustainable access to the formation of banking system or to formal banking system. So, their main target groups comprise of small and marginal farmers or small entrepreneurs. They can help them in agriculture and non-agricultural work, to artisans, to labor force and so many other people. It promotes thrift in small proportions by a minimum contribution from each member. So, from the pooled money, credit is given to the needy people or needy members at reasonable interest or lower interest rates, which is to be repaid in a very small proportion of installments. So, these self-help group also help in the empowerment of women. However, the borrowings are mainly confined for consumption purpose and negligible proportion is borrowed from agricultural purposes. Now, the critical appraisal of this rural banking, of course, there are certain criticisms, there are certain difficulties which are associated with this rural banking procedure. So, first is insufficiency, that is the volume of rural credit whichever is required, that is the demand of the rural credit in the country is still insufficient, supply of rural credit is still insufficient in comparison to its demand. Second is inadequate coverage of institutional sources, that means all these institutional sources are not providing proper coverage to each and every farmers or each and every people who are living in rural areas. The institutional credit arrangement continues to be inadequate or insufficient as they have failed to cover entire rural people or farmers of the country. Third is inadequate amount of sanctioning of this loan. The amount of loan which is sanctioned to the farmers is also not sufficient. As a result, farmers often divert or change their ways such loans for unproductive purposes, not for agriculture or for productive purposes, which dilute the very purpose of such kind of loans. Then next drawback is less attention on poor and marginal farmers in terms of providing loans. Lesser attention has been given on credit requirement of needy people, and in here needy people are small and marginal farmers. On the other hand, well-to-do farmers or rich farmers are getting actually the benefit of such kind of facilities or credit worthiness. Fifth is growing overdues. Because the problem of overdues in agricultural credit continues to be an area of concern, as the basic reason for growing overdues is the poor repaying capacity of small and marginal farmers to these credit agencies, and agricultural loan default rates have been chronically high, that means it is severely high, as 50% of the defaulters, those who are not able to pay or those who are unable to pay the loan or repay it, were categorized as willful defaulters. That means they are sometimes these small and marginal farmers intentionally they are making this default, not repaying the amount of loan, which is a threat to the smooth functioning of these banks who are working for providing the credit facilities, which needs to be controlled. Now, to improve this particular situation of these defaulters, banks needs to change their approach from just lenders to building up relationship banking with the borrowers. Second they can do is farmers should also be encouraged to inculcate the habit of savings, that is thrift, and efficient utilization of financial resources could be done for some productive purposes, not for unproductive purposes. Now, next topic here is agricultural marketing system. So, rural people not only face problems regarding finance, that is insufficient finance, but also encounter some difficulty in marketing of the goods, that is in terms of advertisement, proper advertisement, sales promotion could not be done for their products. So, issue of agricultural marketing needs urgent attention is required in the scheme of providing them process or rapid development. Meaning of this agricultural marketing basically is it is a process that involves assembling, that is collecting, storage, processing, transportation, packaging, grading and distribution of different agricultural commodities or products across the country. So, these are the things which are involved in the process. So, the problems which is basically faced by farmers is in terms of manipulation in accounts by big traders or rich landlords, lack of market informations, that is they are ignorant or unaware about the market information, lack of storage facilities, they do not possess good warehouses. So, there are some measures which or steps which can be taken to improve this agricultural marketing system, and what we can do is we can have regulated market, that is controlled market. This condition means the first measure was regulation of market to create orderly arrangements of the market and transparent marketing condition. When we say transparent, that means it should not have any malpractices, black marketing, and no such involvement of money lenders or rich landlords should be there. So, these regulated markets have been organized with a view to protect the rights of the farmers from the malpractices of sellers, brokers or landlords. So, with a view to protect the farmers from this malpractices of sellers and brokers, this policy is very much giving benefit to consumers also and farmers also. Second is infrastructural facilities which can be improved by providing physical infrastructures like communication, roads, railways, warehouses, cold storage in terms of perishable items, processing units must be there. So, the current infrastructural facilities are quite inadequate, are not sufficient to meet the growing demands required with of infrastructure, which needs to be improved. Third can be done is cooperative marketing. That is, the aim of this cooperative marketing is to realize fair price, that means to have fair price policy for farmer products. Under this, marketing societies are formed by farmers to sell the output collectively together and to take advantage of collective bargaining in order to obtain a better price and better profits also. Fourth can be different policy instruments. Now, under this different policy instrument, we have actually different policies available. The first is MSP, that is minimum support price, which must be provided to the farmers to safeguard the interest of them. Government fixes the minimum support price strategy of 24 actually agricultural products, including wheat, rice, maize, cotton, sugarcane, and so many other products are there, pulses also. Such a price may be regarded as an offer price through farmers, at which government is willing to buy any amount of grains from the farmers, so that farmers should get a proper return or benefit and profit. So, maintenance, or second can be done is maintenance of buffer stocks. Now, buffer stock is the Food Corporation of India purchases wheat and rice and other such goods at the procurement prices, and to maintain buffer stock, it is created, this buffer stock is actually created in the years of surplus production. When more increase in production is there, then at that time government used to purchase a buffer stock or stock of certain goods from farmers, and is used during the times of crisis like famines or such kind of things. It helps to ensure regularity and stability in supply in the market of this particular products. Then third they can do is PDS, that is public distribution system. Under this public distribution system in our country operates through a network of ration shops and fair price shops. Fair price shops offer essential commodities, that is necessity commodities like wheat, rice, kerosene, etc., which are available at such kind of ration shops at a price below the market price to the weaker. Especially this is beneficial, or this privilege is given for the weaker section of the society who cannot afford to purchase the things from the market at a high price. Now, some emerging alternative available for this marketing strategies or for marketing system or channels. These are the first they can do is origin of farmers market. That means there is such kind of market available for which is known as farmers market. So, this farmers can increase their income if they directly sell their products to consumers only. As a result, the concept of this farmer market was initiated by government to give a boost or to motivate to the small farmers by providing them direct access to their consumers and eliminating the role of middlemen or mediators who charges high commission or enjoys a good amount of profit from them. Some examples of these channels can be Apni Mandi in Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan, Hadapsar Mandi in Pune and so on. Now, this particular things are having alliance with national and multinational companies, which we can do is several national and multinational companies, fast food chains are increasingly entering into contracts, alliances with farmers, that is a merger with farmers. So, they encourage these farmers to cultivate a better quality product, farm products, especially vegetables, fruits, grains, etc., of the desired quality or superior quality, and they provide them with not only seeds, that means these companies are not only providing them seeds and other inputs, but also assure and procurement of the produce at pre-decided prices. So the farmers are actually enjoying a good amount of profit from producing this desired or superior quality product for these particular companies or multinational companies. Now second can be done is diversification of agriculture. That means if we try to diversify these farmers or agricultural activities to other such kind of sectors, the need for this diversification arises because of when there is a greater risk in depending exclusively on farming. That means if farmers are always depending on for their livelihood only on farming, so there is a high need to diversify or change their job patterns or to provide productive sustainable livelihood options to this rural people. So because of this kind of diversification happen. Now the benefits of diversification which will be enjoyed by the rural people can be, that is they will be provided supplementary gainful employment along with their farming to enable them to earn higher level of income and to raise their standard of living, to enable rural people to overcome poverty and other such kind of troubles. So there are certain types of this diversification when we talk about. It can be diversification of crop production, that is changing the cropping pattern, or it can be multiple cropping system. Diversification of productive activities, that is shift of these workforce from farming or agriculture to other activities related to non-agriculture sector. Now when we talk about diversification of crop production, it involves shift from single cropping system to multiple cropping system, which involves a cropping pattern from food grains to cash crops or food crops to cash crops. Basically the main aim is to promote shift from subsistence and traditional farming to commercial farming. Now when we say diversification of productive activities, agriculture is already overcrowded, we all know. A major population or proportion of our country is still depending on agriculture. So we want to have a good labor force for other such kind of employment other than farming. So to increase the opportunities in non-farming sectors, this diversification of productive activities which is required. The dynamic subsectors including agro-processing industries, food processing industries, leather industries, tourism industries which require much labor force. So those sectors which have the potential but seriously lacking infrastructure and other supports include traditional households based industries like small cottage industries, pottery industries, handloom industries, handicraft industries which require much attention. So if attention will be provided to such kind of productive activities, we can improve the condition of these people. Now along with farming sector, we have some non-farming sector also, or non-farming areas of employment other than agriculture, which are, it can be animal husbandry or livestock farming. It is that branch of agriculture which is concerned with breeding, rearing and caring for farm animals or domestic animals, under which livestock animals can be cattle, goats, fowls, that is duck and goose are the widely held species, and India owns one of the largest livestock population in the whole world. So we can utilize this livestock productively. The livestock production provides increased stability in income, that is sustainable development from these people, food security, transport, fuel and nutrition for the family without disrupting or without trouble of other food producing activities like farming. So livestock sector provides an alternative option to such people who are engaged in farming sector. Over 70 million small and marginal farmers including landless farmers. So it is a better option of a non-farming sector, that is animal husbandry. Second is dairying, that is dairying is that branch of agriculture which involves breeding, raising and utilization of dairy animals for the production of milk and various other dairy products or products which is made from milk only. So it is the business of producing, storing and distributing milk and its products. The performance of the Indian dairy sector over the last 3 decades has been quite impressive all over the world. Due to the successful implementation of Operation Flood, India ranks first in the world in milk production. India's milk production increased from 17 million tons in 1950 to 51 to 102.6 million tons in 2006 to 7 and increased to 165.4 million tons in 2016 to 17. Now next sector can be fisheries. Fishing community which regards water bodies as mother, that is sea, ocean, rivers, ponds, lakes, etc. As presently fish production from inland sources contributes about 64% of the total fish production, and the balance 36% comes from the marine sector, that is sea sector. Share of this fishing in that is contribution of them to total GDP. Total fish production accounts for 0.8% of total GDP. In India, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, that is all coastal areas, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu are the major fish producing states. Then next is horticulture along with fishing and others. Horticulture refers to science or art of cultivating fruits, vegetables, tuber crops, flowers, medicinal aromatic plants, spices, plantation and various other kinds of herbs. This is also one of the trend nowadays. These crops play a very vital role in providing food, nutrition, besides addressing employment or besides giving employment concerns. India has adopted this horticulture as it is very blessed with a varying climate. That means because of our better varying climate and soil condition, horticulture is a better option. It is an important sector for potential diversification and value addition to agriculture also. It is a sector which contributes nearly 1/3 of the value of agriculture output, and 6% contribution is provided by horticulture to our GDP. Information technology, which is also one of the next non-farming sector. IT sector, which we say refers to that branch of engineering that deals with the use of computers and telecommunications to retrieve and store and transmit some kind of information. Now information technology or IT sector has revolutionized many sectors in the Indian economy. So these are some of the non-farming sectors which can contribute for the better development of rural areas. Now last is evaluation of this rural development. How we can evaluate this rural development? The first is stress on diversification. That means most amount or sufficient stress must be given on diversification of agricultural activities. That is, there is a need to make rural areas more vibrant through diversification into non-farming sector, that is dairying, poultry, fisheries, horticulture, IT sector, etc. Second is rural and urban linkage. That means there must be proper transportation, roadways, communication must be available to link the rural areas as well as urban areas. Efforts should be made to link up the rural production centers with the urban and foreign export countries, markets to realize higher returns on the investment of the product. Third is better facilities or infrastructure facilities must be provided to rural areas in terms of providing credit facilities, marketing facilities, state agricultural departments like farmer friendly agricultural policies must be there, constant appraisal and dialogue or communication between farmers groups must be there by the government or through various policies. The aim is to achieve full potential or to utilize proper potential of a farming sector of the rural area. More emphasis must be given on sustainable development. Now sustainable development means development for a longer period of time must be needed. So there is a need to invent or procure alternate sets of eco-friendly technologies that lead to sustainable development in different circumstances or during different kinds of condition or problems. So this is all about today's video. Thank you.